Ladies and gentlemen, this story kind of baffled me a little bit. I could not find one single news video about this, and it kind of led me to believe that maybe the general media or the news stations didn't think this story was that important. But when y'all hear what this man did, not only where his background comes from, but the individual that you see on my screen is actually a former prosecutor. Now, just because of that title alone doesn't make him any better or worse than anybody else. It just means that he was in a position to try to, I guess, delegate people's legal situations. And you would just think that those people might be a little more hyper aware. Maybe that's the term I'm looking for. They should be way more aware about the things that they do in the situations that they get themselves into. But let me tell you the story. But before we do that, you guys know I got to give you a disclaimer because people like to flag the damn channel. But some of you might find my content controversial or offensive. The information is coming from credible sources. My video commentary is my opinion about the facts. The point is to try to use this as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like this. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. I think they said he is a lawyer. I don't really know the proper term, but it said a one-time prosecutor is charged with second-degree murder in connection with the fatal beating of his ex-wife. And this is told to a northwestern Minnesota judge on Thursday that he objected to a move by prosecutors that could result in a tougher sentence if he is convicted. And I'm getting this story by way of lawandcrime.com. Y'all know I get a lot of articles from them, so thank you very much for the article. Let me see if I can get his picture back up here real quick. Beautiful kids. This fool, this dummy that y'all see on my screen right here, his name is Anders Odegaard. Guard. Odegarrd. If that's not how you pronounce it, then I just got it wrong. But he is charged with fatally attacking his ex-wife, Carissa Odegaard. Let me see if I can get her face up on the screen. He just looked like he's just done with life. Like he just don't care anymore. He's got a pretty smile. That's his wife over there on the right hand, or ex-wife. But he fatally attacked her with a knife or a spatula. The attack occurred Tuesday, according to a criminal complaint and an attached affidavit obtained by Law and Crime. Those court documents and Carissa's family, by way of an online post, together indicated that the victim had been declared brain dead by doctors. Her body was reportedly kept alive for some time after the attack until her organs could be prepped for donation. And that has got to be hard for the family to have to know that. I'm sure nobody wants to go through something like that. And y'all could tell they had a bunch of kids. Brace yourselves. I'm getting ready to talk about something that's probably going to get some people's pennies in a bunch. How long have I been saying having a bunch of children adds a lot of stress to parents? You look at these children and they're all beautiful children. I believe that all children, black, white, or brown, don't care what race, nationality, where they are from. All children are beautiful children. Okay? Once they are here, they need to be protected and cared for. But they are a lot of responsibility. I have 2 children. And me trying to get my life on track has been challenging, to say the least, with just 2. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, and it looks like they had them all in succession, one right after another, consecutively. I want y'all to think about something. Whenever you have children, and I know a lot of times people say that you should love all your children equally, spend as much time with them, and spread your time out equally, you can't do that. When either dad has to work, mom has to work, or y'all both have to work, you're already taking a ton of time away from these kids, yes? These kids need your time and attention. They need mom and dad. We try to supplement by putting them with daycare, by putting them with family members. We try to supplement it because we can't give them all our time because we got to go work. We got to pay bills. We want a nice house. We want to try to keep all our bills on, keep our cell phone on, keep gas in the car when gas is like $113 a gallon, right? Cell phone prices are going through the roof. Got to keep clothes on their back. Got to put them in school. Got food shortages. Food is suffering inflation, right? Why am I bringing up all of this? The number one reason why people get divorced? Finances. Where am I going with this? Finances. Remember, this show isn't about the news. If you came for the news, this is the wrong show. You might as well go to your tablet and boom, hit that X in the top right corner. This is the wrong show. This ain't the news. I'm not Ted Koppel or whoever the hell it is that you watch on the news. I don't know who's on the news. I'm giving my opinion about the things that happen in hopes to prevent these things going forward. Finances is the number one statistical reason that people get divorced. You have so much responsibility, and while we're talking about finances, I damn sure hope that nobody emails me or leaves a comment in my goddamn comment section. Yes, gas is $113 a gallon if y'all haven't heard. Hashtag screw Biden. Screw Biden. Okay? So I want y'all to think about this. With having all of these kids, you got to provide for them. It is already a task in itself to try to earn that much money. And then by the time y'all get home, you get off of work, you look at each other, and then it's just like y'all are both stressed out. You might gripe about this, gripe about that. Next thing you know, y'all in a full-blown argument. I'm going to assume that statistically, finances had something to do with why they got a divorce. I don't know that. I don't have their divorce decree in front of me, but I'm just going to assume that finances probably played a part. They got 5 kids, and I'm pretty sure for anybody, and matter of fact, with him being an ex-prosecutor, y'all know he has every bit of information about how hard that system is going to be on him when he gets divorced from her. That man, as far as finances, is going to be screwed up a creek without a paddle. He's going to have to pay for alimony, which is just money that he will owe to her, depending on where they were financially, and then have to pay child support for 5 kids. Not one. Matter of fact, there are men out there that have had their back broken in child support over 1 kid, let alone 2, let alone 3, let alone 4, let alone 5. Now you got to move out. Now you got to get another place to live. Now you got to start a whole nother set of bills while continuing to help your wife that you made a legal commitment for life to. Got to help her too, because she's going to have the kids in her possession. Does that give him an excuse for what he did? The answer is no, it never does. But what I'm saying is not to them. What I'm saying is not for their benefit. What I'm saying is for people before they get to this point. Hello. Preventative. What's the solution, Jay? We got to start talking about how to not get to a point of pressure busting a pipe. We got to start thinking about this, and we got to stop being selfish before we say we want kids. Well, what about what those kids want? How can you make these kids' dreams come true if you have so many of them that you financially can't make it happen? That's shit we got to start thinking about as parents before we get married and before we start procreating. Yes? Here's what I believe. I believe that this man knew what was going to come down the pipeline. He knew that he was going to be financially hampered by this. I think that sometimes husbands and wives can be petty. I don't know if any of y'all have ever been married. Husbands and wives can be petty sometimes, especially when you're on the verge of breaking up. Here's another thing. A lot of times, another big reason why people break up and get divorced, infidelity. Infidelity. What if he's got a woman on the side now since they're getting a divorce? What if she's got a boyfriend on the side? She's a pretty lady. I'm sure it wouldn't be hard for her to get another man that's interested in her. I'm pretty sure that even though she has 5 kids, there are still men that were actively trying to holler at her. Would y'all like to see her inbox on Facebook? I'm pretty sure it's freaking full, unless it was disabled. That's another aspect. So maybe there was some words exchanged and he looked up and just snapped on her. We could look at this in one of two ways. We could look at it and say that he was an asshole. He needs to go to jail for life. End of story. Who's going to raise those kids? Another way you could look at this. Here's a second way you can look at this, and some of y'all aren't going to like this. This is why you come here, is to hear my real opinion, right? Okay, so I'm going to give it to you. Second way you can look at this and say, at least he didn't hurt the kids. He only hurt who he was mad at. The people who will look at this and put the children secondary to the mother are going to get mad about what I just said. They're going to leave me angry comments. They're going to say angry things. They're going to send me threats. They're going to put petitions out and say I need to have my channel canceled for what I just said, acting like this woman's life doesn't matter, which is not what I said at all. I think her life did matter, and I think that this dude was dumb for what he did, lashing out because he couldn't be a man. He didn't have the huevos. He didn't have the cojones to step up and be a man and take care of his responsibility and just deal with what comes with it. That's what happens. Life is going to crush you financially. You get your punk ass up, dust yourself off, and figure out how to live. That's all you can do. It's not fun. It's not nice. And his smug ass, I want you to think about that. While you were probably prosecuting people, not giving a shit about what was going to happen to their future and how they emotionally felt, yes, this thing going on up in here, he didn't give a shit about that. His job as a prosecutor was to get convictions. Holla if you hear me. Huh? He didn't care about what happened to people emotionally until it happened to him. Foresight. That's why when people are guilty and for doing heinous things, you got to hold them accountable. But you also have to have a level of balance to understand, hey, if I were in this situation, what would I do to myself? Now he's going to be the one prosecuted for what he did to his ex-wife, which was some punk ass shit. You killed her for what? You think you couldn't have bounced back? There is a timeline for raising kids. It's 18 years. At some point, they will be self-sufficient. If you are a good father and a good mother, they will end up being self-sufficient. I haven't even told y'all the rest of the details yet. I'm just speaking from the heart, and I hope y'all don't mind. At some point, those kids will want to work on their own, provide for themselves, be independent, and go out into the world and hopefully become something great. Then your job as a parent, for the most part, is done. There is an end of the road. There is an end to this race. But you don't just get mad and just go kick your wife's ass and go kill her just because you feel like you wouldn't be able to get through the race. That's not what you do. And I'm speaking from personal experience. Yes, you get mad. No, you don't like it. Will it screw you up financially? Yes. I understand that better than anybody does. I understand that better than anybody does, whether people care or whether they don't. I know how depressing and emotional that is. And as men, he has made us take a bunch of steps in the wrong freaking direction. This makes us all look bad. Let me give y'all some more details. I know I done talked about this in a personal way. Here are the details of the story from Law and Crime. The documents lay out a bloody and violent scene witnessed by several of the children of the couple's children. Let me say that again. The kids saw their mother get murdered. They saw it. The children witnessed their father killing their mother. A fit of choking is alleged to have occurred. The narratives insinuate that a bloodied Anders tried to immediately wash his clothes after the alleged murder and then met a police officer at his door wearing only his boxers. One of the couple's children washed blood off his little brother in the denouement of the melee, according to sheriff's deputies. I don't even know what word that is. Denouement. I get what they're saying, but I don't even know that word. Denouement. Okay. So that is outcome, consequence, result, end result. Okay, I did not know that. The denouement. So the defendant caused the death of a victim who was found to not be breathing and had severe head trauma with blood pooling on the floor by the victim's head, the complaint says in the summary. According to Fargo, North Dakota television station KVLY, Odegaard also told a judge this week that he was neither a risk to public safety nor a risk to his 5 children. I totally disagree with that. At least some of whom who allegedly witnessed the violent and deadly attack. I think if he did this to his wife, there's no telling what this man would have done if they let him out on bail or bond. A court document signed Thursday indicates that a judge disagreed, which I do too. A checkbox on the form indicates that the defendant's release would endanger public safety unless significant strings were attached to any pretrial departure from custody. The defendant can post bail by offering a combined $250,000 cash and a $2.5 million bond, with most of the usual conditions attached. Among them were to surrender of a passport, an agreement to remain in the state of Minnesota, and that the defendant would have no contact with his minor children until further order of the court. A judge ordered a $5 million cash or surety bail with fewer conditions attached, a whopping and nearly insurmountable figure. I haven't heard of a $5 million bail. Why even present that? You know we ain't got no $5 million. Matter of fact, I didn't even show y'all this. Let me show you this real quick. Y'all remember when I was talking about their finances and how I said they might have been having money issues? Let me show you why I tell y'all that. Here's why. Let me show you something. Like Jim Carrey would say. Let me show you something. This is their GoFundMe for funeral expenses and to help support the children. Somebody by the name of Jessica Ford is organizing this fundraiser on behalf of the mother and the children and requested $75,000 in GoFundMe money. $75,000. Remember how we always talk about life insurance? Let me ask you guys a question. Don't you think Because maybe you say, well, the kids are too young for life insurance, which I disagree. I think everybody should have life insurance. Everybody, just like everybody has to have car insurance, everybody should have life insurance. With her being the age that she is, I don't know if I saw her age in here. It didn't list her age. She's grown. She got 5 kids. Why does she not have a life insurance policy? Let me throw another thing out there. Let me throw another zinger out there for those who might get mad about me talking about this GoFundMe. The mortality rate, and I got to give a shout out to Tommy for this. I've heard him say this. This is where I got it from. The mortality rate in the United States of America for women giving birth and dying during childbirth is very high, and it's the most high in the United States of America, and it's higher than any rate than any other place in the world. How many of you guys knew that? We have more women in America dying giving childbirth than any other place. So if you're going to have 1 kid, why not have life insurance? If you're going to have 2, why not get life insurance? You made a 3rd, why? You made a 4th, why? Then you had a 5th, still no life insurance? And if you did, then there would be no reason to put up almost a $100,000 GoFundMe. Whether it is to bury her and help have some funds for the kids, but again, that's why I say we need to be thinking preemptively about this stuff. Yes, it's going to be hard for somebody else, not the mother or the father, to raise these 5 kids. They're beautiful kids and they deserve to have somebody that can help raise them. Yes, they do. But that's also not the public's responsibility. That's the responsibility of family members. That's what the family circle is for. Crowdfunding is not meant to raise people's kids. That's what life insurance is for. Let me get that off my screen. That's why I brought it up, and I said maybe they were having some financial issues because $75,000 is quite a bit. Regardless of bail, the judge ordered the defendant to have no contact, direct or indirect, with the family of the crime victim. The court docket indicates that the defendant was a first declared ineligible to be represented by a public defender, but that decision quickly changed. The next hearing in this matter is scheduled for August the 30th, which was 2 days ago. So that's already happened. An amended criminal complaint and affidavit obtained by Law and Crime spells out the allegations against the defendant. It indicates that a responding police officer met 2 of the 5 children, a passerby near the residence where the fatal beating occurred. The passerby said that the boys told him to call 911 because their mom was bleeding really bad and needed help, the document reads. The deputy told the children to remain with the passerby while he attempted to contact the defendant. Deputy McMahon asked the defendant, I'm sure I messed his name up. The deputy asked the defendant to come out to speak with him, the affidavit indicates. The defendant came out from the kitchen area and was just standing in his gray boxer-style briefs. By then, the officers began to arrive at the scene. He said, "I don't feel right," the defendant allegedly repeated. He was then arrested for domestic assault as a preliminary charge. The constabulary then returned their attention to the couple's 5 children. 3 of the children were waiting in the victim's running vehicle while the other 2 remained with the passerby. The children were told they would be taken to the police station. I think I could probably skip the majority of this. Damn, there's a lot of information. There is a lot of information. So if you want to check this out, just go to lawandcrime.com and you can read more of the finer details. But I think I've really made all of the points that I wanted to make. And again, there are no news videos about this, which I was really shocked that they didn't even just show it in the news. Why this wasn't a big story is beyond me, but nonetheless, I definitely hope that a family member, somebody that's close to the family, rather than trying to put all of these kids in a foster care system, because that is going to suck. So I hope that a family member can bring these kids in, take care of them, help them raise them, and so that they can grow up and become somebody great. But what this dude did, sorry, I said that wrong. What this alleged father did, this ex-prosecutor did to his wife and to his children, to his family and to his future is absolutely inexcusable. And I think that asswipe needs life in prison. Y'all tell me what you think. Regardless of what they were going through, you don't do that to this woman and to that mother. You just can't. Regardless of whether she made you mad or not. So RIP to the mother. And y'all, please keep those children in your prayers. So in a sense, this is somewhat of a positive story because the children survived and at least their legacy will live on and they can grow up and become something great outside of their weak ass father. Life in prison for him. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Post a comment. That's what it's there for. But let me know what you think. Thank you.